Football is the game. The Friday Soccer Paycheck, August the 18th, 2023, from the beautiful Chicks Beach Studios in Virginia Beach, Virginia, the United States of America. We are America's only EPL and championship podcast, broadcast, whatever. I keep looking for them on the internet. I'm the only one who pops up. So this is the only soccer show in the United States talking about EPL and championship wagering. We have a game on right now, 65th minute, just strikes, and Nottingham Forest sees their 1-0 halftime lead evaporate right out of the gates of the second half, and Sheffield United has their first EPL goal since being promoted from the championship last season. So 1-1 in Nottingham Forest with that game underway. We also have a game in the championship, actually. We have Leeds and West Brom. So let's get an update on that score. Right now, the score for Leeds and West Brom in the second half, 47th minute, 0-0 or 0-0. All right, this is the Friday Soccer Paycheck. Let's take a quick look at the table, which the championship table might be a little bit better to look at since we've only had the one game in the EPL. But only 3 draws out of the 10 games. So we take something from that. We've had 7 different winners. Anyway, so the winners last week are Chelsea. I'm sorry, not Chelsea. The winners last week are Man United, Fulham, Crystal Palace, Arsenal, Man City, Brighton, and Newcastle. Newcastle on top with their 5 goals. And only allowing 1 on the goal differential. Brighton second, Man City third, Arsenal in 4th. But everyone has 3 points, so take that. Teams with 1 point are West Ham, Liverpool, Chelsea, Bournemouth, Tottenham, and Brentford. And the teams locked out, and we'll have to hope for better things this week, are Everton, Sheffield, who is on the board right now. They would get a point right now if this game were to end. Wolverhampton, Luton, Burnley, and Aston Villa. So those are the teams and where they sit in the table. All right, let's get to the slate. The games were good last week. I'll take that out of it. We did see some goals in some games, so don't think the early season jitters are something to deal with. The one good thing we could use right now is a weather report for the weekend, because I will tell you this. In a very sunny Virginia Beach today, we've been flying around town nonstop. So we're a little out of the loop as far as the UK weather situation is. A little bit rainy today. I don't see that in the Nottingham stands, do I? Umbrellas? Not really. Okay, it looks like it's somewhat dry there. But Saturday and Sunday look to be clear skies, partly cloudy anyway. And 77, 78 degrees. Low humidity as well. So prime conditions to be playing soccer. Monday as well, 79, 42% humidity. Man, what I would do for that right now. So the conditions are prime for scoring. Moral of the story. We don't have an early game tomorrow. So we will start with, and we only have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. So 2 teams not playing. I'd see Luton as one of them. So Luton is not playing, and as Crystal Palace, the other team, just from looking now, they play Monday. Everton, nope, they're playing. It'll come to us at some point. We will realize one of these teams isn't playing. All right, so we'll start with the 10 o'clock game with Liverpool and Bournemouth in Liverpool, who are a big favorite, minus 480, plus 550, and plus 1,200 are the underdog Bournemouth side, the team from the South Coast, traveling up to one of the teams on the upper West Coast. So South versus West. Bournemouth is, I don't think they're just a $12 dog, to be honest. I think that Liverpool still with a lot of new faces has to find some continuity. And early in the season, the chemistry I just don't think is going to automatically be there. It could be, but there's a good chance that it's not. And Bournemouth was a young, feisty, athletic side, has a chance, I believe, to hang in this game. Now, Liverpool only got the one goal last week. Bournemouth rallied late down against West Ham. So Bournemouth may be up for this. I just don't think they're your average $12 underdog right now. I don't know if Liverpool demands this much respect. But even on the draw, I think you're kind of priced into the dog and the draw no matter what. You're just getting the value on that. Now, is Liverpool going to win? Maybe. And probably, I guess. They are the declared favorite. Do they win like 7-0? I don't think that's the case. In fact, I could see this being a scrappy game. I could see it being a little bit wide open. Bournemouth, like I said, has a lot of speed, but they've been a little bit stubborn too on defense. They kind of get in your face a little bit. Maybe, Mo Salah is a year older still. So is Liverpool a lock to win this game at minus 480? I just don't think so. So I think the draw is live. I think the dog is actually live as well. And, this time of the year is a good time to take a chance on that kind of thing, to be honest. So keep that in mind. If you want a big dog, I think you can take a shot at Bournemouth and the draw just straight up. Now, if they win this game, is it going to be a high-scoring shootout? Probably not. Bournemouth will win this game like 2-1 or even 1-0 or something like that. They'll have to play on their heads playing defense to hold down Liverpool the whole 90 minutes. So we'll take a small shot on Bournemouth in this game. All right, Fulham is hosting Brentford. Now, a little birdie I listen to likes the over in this game. I'm not so sure about that. Fulham plus 170, Brentford plus 160, and the draw is at plus 230. West Brom is on the board 1-0 over Leeds, by the way, now in the 54th minute in the championship. But with Fulham and Brentford, I could see this being a 1-1 game. No Ivan Toney. We have a little bit of discontent here with our boy Mitrovic. Apparently, he's trying to go play in the Saudi League and collect. Now about that, the Saudis are really putting out the money. I mean, we all know about the Live Golf tournament or the Live Golf and how they've affected the PGA and now coming back together in a way. But soccer-wise, they're spending lots of money on some of these top-notch players, and a lot of these guys want to go, and Mitrovic is one of them. So I don't know. I could just see this being a 1-1 game, to be honest. I don't know if this is a high-scoring game. So I'm going to lay off this game. It should be pretty competitive. It is priced that way. I think there's better fish to fry on the board. Now, Wolverhampton played feisty against Man United last Monday. I watched every second of that game. The Wolves have been feisty. We liked them last year in this matchup with Brighton. The baby pool and upset, and they got smoked 6-0, if you remember that. And we talked about that the other day on the round robin. But Brighton is a minus 115 favorite here. The Wolves are plus 300. The draw is at plus 280. But I would maybe look at this at being a scoring type of an affair. Wolverhampton had plenty of chances with their speed against Man United. Brighton likes to kind of play open anyway. So maybe these two teams can really kind of get it going. If you want, and the thing is, Brighton can cover these lines by themselves because they just recently did. But over 3.5 is plus 184. Over 4.5 is plus 450. Could this be a 4-2 Brighton game? I think it could be, to be honest. Plus 1080 if you want to go over 5.5 goals. But I think the sure thing for sure is at least 3.5 at plus 184. I think we can get over that. Maybe it's a 3-1 game in favor of Brighton, or even 4-0. But the Wolves, I'm surprised they didn't actually draw or even win that game against Man United. They played really, really well, and maybe they just aren't going to be as bad as we think. This game will tell a lot about them, to be honest. These players, might have their wits about them. So we'll see. But we'll go ahead and rely on some sort of a higher scoring game here. Plenty of star power to get goals on at least Brighton. And then Neto's been okay, and they got some other speed as well. So maybe just stick with this over, and we'll see. Is that one of the better bets on the board? I would say yes, to be honest. So we'll put a 3-star play next to this guy. All right, Tottenham and Man United. This is a 12:30 game. So those first 3 games are at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we have a 12:30 p.m. game with Tottenham hosting Man United. Now, Man United was, again, in kind of an open game. Their goalie made a lot of saves last week against the Wolverhampton. They had their shots too, and they had some good saves by Wolverhampton on Man United. So maybe some more goals we should have had there anyway. Rashford definitely had his foot on the ball, and I could see that being the case this year in this game with Tottenham. Tottenham is trying to push the ball up and down the field, open it up a little bit. Man United's fine playing that way, and with their skilled athletes, Bruno Fernandes is good. He really, really is. He can find a deep pass to Rashford. So 185 for Tottenham, 135 for Man U, plus 270 is the draw. I would just take another shot on the over here, to be honest. Maybe it's a 2-2 game, 3-2 Man United. They still both, even without Harry Kane, Tottenham has some scoring power for sure. Over 3.5 is just a plus 140. So we're expecting goals in this. Over 4.5 is plus 350. As chaos is trying to break out in this Nottingham-Sheffield game, but they are still at a 1-1 tie, 76 minutes in. Okay, Tottenham and Man U. So I think just an over. I think an overplay is a good way to go here, and you'll have a over TV with the Wolves Brighton at 10. You'll have an over TV with Tottenham Man United, and let's keep the afternoon just entertaining with some more goals, shall we? Man City and Newcastle in the game of the day, and the price is coming down on nephew Dave's Newcastle team here, minus 155 for Man City. Newcastle plus 410. The draw is plus 300, and I think Newcastle is very live. Now remember, no Kevin De Bruyne. He's hurt for Man City. Newcastle has plenty of scoring capability. Alexander Isak looks like he's taken another step in his progression of what could be a great career for him. Callum Wilson has looked nice. Plenty of opportunity to get goals for Newcastle as well. And a plus 410. Man, this could really just be a week where Man City and Liverpool do take L's, which is going to be very, very rare to see that happen in the same weekend. If you're going to kind of go that route too, you're going to get paid 65 to 1 odds on a Newcastle Bournemouth 2-game parlay straight up. So that'd be a good way to do it. And just kind of root from there, to be honest. So Newcastle, I think just plain and simple can win this game, even 3-2. I think you can get goals here. And over 4.5 is at plus 460. Over 5.5 is that a shot here too? Let's see. Is at plus 1120. So all that is kind of feasible. I would feel better about the over 4.5. But maybe this is the kind of game Newcastle can act when they do win it. They win like 2-1, to be honest. I think goals can happen. They're good, 2 prolific offenses, good defenses as well. So you just got to keep that in mind. But if you want a good, fun, nice weather UK afternoon on a Saturday, triple header, and try to attempt to get all 3 of these overs in a row in the Brighton game, the Newcastle game, and then the Man U and Tottenham game, then I believe you're going to be able to do that. So keep all that in mind. All right, on Sunday, 2 games, 9 a.m. and 11:30. The first one, Aston Villa host Everton. We're going to see what we have from Everton. I don't know what exactly we got, but they're plus 410 dog. Aston Villa losing 5-1 out of the gates is going to make me be a little cautious with them. I like Aston Villa. I do like their speed. Minus 145 for those guys. But they're going to take a step back. It might be early on in the season. Everton may be able to catch them here on this one. Maybe a draw plus 290 is a good way to go. I'm not convinced there will be a lot of goals in this game either, to be honest. So I'm going to be hesitant to do anything with that in that way. And you know what? And honestly, this probably will just be a complete stay away altogether. The 11:30 game with West Ham and Chelsea. West Ham is plus 260. The draw is plus 250. Chelsea is plus 105. 11:30 is the kickoff for that. Again, this is a tough one. Chelsea has a lot of new faces. We don't have high expectations for West Ham. This new Chelsea team, is probably going to be, as the only game on at that time slots, they're probably going to get a lot of the action. But are these guys going to have the chemistry? Just kind of like Liverpool. I mean, they drew out Liverpool last week 1-1. But what kind of continuity do these guys really, really have? And just their second game playing together with all that turnover. So I would just proceed with caution on the Sunday games altogether. I don't think we have anything to really blow our socks off with here. The Monday game is Crystal Palace and Arsenal. This could be just like a 1-0 Arsenal win. They're minus 180, Crystal Palace plus 500, the draw is plus 300. You figure Arsenal will get possession a lot because Crystal Palace will give it to you a lot, and then they're just going to pack it in on defense, and you're going to try to have to score on them. So, a good way to look at this would be their recent scores. Let's see if I can pull that up, actually. Let's see. The last 2 years will kind of be the proof of the pudding on this, of how these teams have played each other. So let's see. We have a 2-2 game, but that's 2 years ago. Arsenal got them 4-1 last spring. Okay, so they beat them pretty handily. Maybe that's going to be the case. Yeah, 21, 2-2. I see a 4-1. I'm trying to get a good list here. Well, if I went with the same under theory last season, it didn't work out because 4-1 was the winner there with Arsenal. Let's see. Can I get them here? You all Premier League. Yeah. All right. Well, so we'll just pass on that one altogether. Everything says take Arsenal, so maybe let's take their goals anyway, just to give you a heads up what they got. 2-0. I think that's fair. Away team over 1.5 is just minus 140. Over 2.5 is plus 250. So, I don't know. You're just not getting the best prices in the world. And I just don't have a feeling this early in the season. Crystal Palace isn't going to give you much against Arsenal. And Arsenal, if they get their 1 or 2 goals, they might be satisfied just by moving on. Okay. So, Premier League picks. Let's go over these one more time. As we have 1-1 still in the 83rd minute with Sheffield United at Nottingham Forest. All right, we'll take a shot on Bournemouth or to draw. We'll probably play them both in some aspects. No goal total here, but we're going to try to just fade all the new faces on Liverpool with a lack of continuity. We'll pass on Fulham and Brentford. We'll look for goals in the Wolves and Brighton game. We'll look for goals in the Tottenham Man United game. And we'll look for an upset here with Newcastle over Man City or the draw, and maybe an over in that one as well. We'll pass on Aston Villa, West Ham, and the jury is out on Crystal Palace and Arsenal. if I'm that convinced on them, do I do a correct score? So I get plus 550 for 1-0 and plus 600 for 2-0. 11-1 for 3-0. So maybe I'll mess with the 2 and a 3 and maybe just kind of hit some kind of mini Monday madness. All right, so that's it for the EPL. Let's queue up the championship. We'll go ahead and take a break first because the phone is blowing up. I know I have a lot of work going on. Outside of this, here as we end swimming pool season in Virginia Beach, Virginia, thank the Lord. It can't end soon enough. One and nothing West Brom, 69th minute. Okay, we'll go through the championship games and the table when we get back after this.
Like we're back in the studio. Los Angeles, 1997.
That's a good analogy.
Brett Gurwitz behind the controls. This is Brett.
I don't need to tell the truth, but I never lie. I don't need to bow to you. You're just passing by. I never wanted to be the one you bitch and moan and come home to. But as long as you look good, I'll come back to you. Get inside my troubled mind with all of your threats. Sometimes I think I was blind. Not before we met. I never wanted to be the one that you depend on for your life. When you cry, it smells like soup. Sound like Shona Knife. Never feel how I said all night. I got a right. Each time I said all night. No action's mine. You make me stay all night. It's just that side of you tonight that makes me stay all night. I'm gonna stay all night. You're an evil little girl. I'm a twisted man, tearing through your perfect world. Make you understand. I never wanted to be the one you bitch and moan and come home to. But as long as you look good, I'll come back to you and do the things you do. Stay all night. I got it right. Each time I stayed all night. No, I just might. You make me stay all night. It's just that side of you tonight that makes me stay all night. I'm gonna stay all. I would never treat you bad. You deserve the best from me. If you want to keep your place, you better get down on your.
Yeah, Todd wrote this one.
Yeah. You think?
This is not mine.
I got a right. Each time I stayed all night. No, I just might. You make me stay all night. It's just that side of you tonight that makes me stay all night. I'm gonna stay all night.
R.I.P. Todd.
Chris Wood with the late strike for Nottingham Forest. They take a 2-1 lead over Sheffield United in the 89th minute. Wow, is that going to be a header in traffic? That is going to be an insane misdirection header by Nottingham Forest. Wow, what a ball in. And then the ball just flicked over the goalie across the whole face of goal. What a goal by Chris Wood in Nottingham. Sheffield playing hard in the second half. It's going to be all for naught, it looks like, as we are now in added time, 90 minutes. So whatever the injury time is going to be here, and of course we have the new rules where they add on a ton of minutes. So let's see what they come up with here as far as extra time, added time. See, extra time would be in a game in which you need to decide it without a draw. So this, they haven't told us yet. So we're waiting, plus 8 minutes. So 8 minutes Sheffield will have to try to tie this up 2-1. Okay, there is a 7:30 game in the championship. Plymouth, the new team up from League One, will play Southampton, the fallen from grace Southampton team from the EPL. So basically, these are, if you think about it that way, two teams who are basically in the same division now, but last year were two divisions apart. I think that favors Southampton tremendously, to be honest. Now, Plymouth scored a bunch of goals their first time out. They didn't score anything their second time out. They are big dogs at plus 290. Southampton is at minus 125. The draw is at plus 280. So at minus 125, Southampton's a good price. I think you can take that for sure. But I would look at this because Southampton has been scoring goals as well. They cashed us a ticket last week with their over in their game. I don't know if Plymouth can get it on over. I need to see them have a goal score output like they did their first week, where I think they scored 4 their first week too, but nothing last week. But I'll trust Southampton again anyway. And at over 2.5 goals for Southampton at plus 285, I think you could throw that in your tickets. Do I want to go plus 830 for the away team, Southampton, for the game? Maybe not. I don't know if they'll get exactly 4. But in the first half, over 1.5 is plus 450 as well. I could see that as Southampton has come out of the gates pretty much storming in both of their games. So that ticket may cash plus 450. I kind of like that. But see, that's your disparity too. So that's getting 2 goals. And if you're going to get the same output as you do in the first half for the second half, 4 goals, then you might as well just take the away team over 3.5 at plus 830. So you're getting paid double for basically the same amount of output on the average, if that makes sense. If they can get the RPMs going for 90 minutes and keep the scoring flowing, then that's going to cash the bigger ticket with over 3.5. So Southampton, you can look for them to win. Blackburn and Hull, 10 o'clock Eastern game. Blackburn is minus 115. Hull is plus 300. The draw is at plus 260. I would take a pass on this. I want to see more. Blackburn is the better team last year than what Hull is. I just need to see some more out of these clubs this year. It's going to be a little wishy-washy here in the championship till we get a good feel for everyone and what they really have. Sunderland and Rotherham. Sunderland, I'm not sure about either. Let's see here. We'll look at last week's results too. As Leeds is now tied the game up 1-1. Let's see. Last week, Rotherham drew out Blackburn 2-2. Plymouth scored nothing against Watford. And let's see, what does Sunderland do? Sunderland lost to Preston 2-1. And Hull were 4-2 winners against Sheffield Wednesday. Did Hull win the first week as well? Let's see. Two 2-1 losers to Norwich week 1 or Hull. Okay, so basically I can't trust any of these teams yet is the bottom line there. QPR is apparently the worst team in the championship. Ipswich is up a league though. So do I trust the team from League One to take out QPR? It could very easily be the team relegated to League One this year. I don't know. It's a pass. So plus 320 on QPR, minus 125 for Ipswich. I will lay off of that. Huddersfield is due for a win. They're minus 155. I'm sorry, Middlesbrough is due for a win. And Huddersfield is the team that would give them a good win. Minus 155 for Middlesbrough, plus 380 for Huddersfield, plus 290 for the draw. So Middlesbrough, I don't know if they're going to get all the goals we think that they can. Huddersfield last week lost 3-1 to Plymouth. That was 2 weeks ago. Plymouth with their big output. So last week with Huddersfield, so you guys confusing, you forget all this stuff already. Losing to Leicester 1-0, and Middlesbrough lost as well to Coventry 3-0. So Middlesbrough has really had a rough start to it. I almost need to see them win a game, as I'm a little bit afraid of them right now, and they're getting too much credit for a team who hasn't looked good at all in their first 2 weeks. Nottingham going down the left side, ball into the channel, and it is kicked out to safety. Sheffield United has about 2 minutes to try to get this game scored to a tie, and then it will be over. Bristol City against Tom Brady's Birmingham team. Birmingham won last week at plus 240. Bristol City, they won 1-0 against Millwall. So I don't know. Maybe you take Tom Brady and the Birmingham team at plus 240. Bristol City is not that great. I really don't have that much of a feel for this. I know that Brady did go into the locker room and had a good influence on the lads there for Birmingham, as he is part of the team ownership. And they really like to have him down in the locker room. They're going to enhance their sports science and everything. So that's a team on the up and up, maybe Birmingham. And so if you want to feel a little frisky, maybe take them. Coventry, who's been decent, at least last week against Middlesbrough, before they lost the week before with a late second kind of loss to Leicester. But Coventry is plus 200. Swansea, who has not won, is plus 135. And the over-under is, the draw is plus 230. So the over-under, if we look at goals, over 3.5 in this game is plus 235. And over 610 is over 4.5. All right, so we're going to try this for the super high-scoring goal game again, because we like Swansea in the high-scoring games. They do have some offensive output. They managed to get the 2 goals late to get us over 4.5 in that game last week with West Brom. So I could see this as being the same type of dealio. I could see this being a 3-2 to win for Swansea as well, something like that. Do I get a good number on the correct score for 3-2? 29-1. So not the greatest, but we might try to throw that in some kind of weird little parlay. Cardiff, plus 550 underdogs to Leicester. Leicester is minus 210. Leicester last week. Leicester last week beat Huddersfield 1-0. And Cardiff, what did they do? We try to recap these guys. Oh, yes, they lost to QPR 2-1. So plus 550 for Cardiff. And if they're giving up L's at the hands of QPR, then Leicester probably is the play here. But they just don't have that great continuity yet. They don't have the same players as last year. They have a lot of new players. It's a different Leicester side. So I'm not too sure what to say here. Yeah, they'll probably win, I guess. But am I interested in it? Not really. You're not going to get great numbers. And the Nottingham Forest game does go final 2-1 Forest over Sheffield. The Leicester home team goals to get the 3 is at plus 215. That's just not a good enough payoff. So I'll go ahead and bypass this. Stoke is hosting Watford. Watford drew out last week. Stoke lost 2-0. Neither team scored last week. That doesn't make me very interested in this at all. So plus 120 for Stoke, plus 220 for Watford, and we'll pass on that. Sheffield Wednesday against Preston. Preston plus 185 on the road. That might be the team, actually. Sheffield Wednesday is plus 150. They're the team promoted up. Keep an eye on Preston, maybe. So they won last week, and then they won. Did they win? I don't think they won the week before, did they? They drew out Bristol the week before that. So they haven't lost yet. And plus 185, that could be a way to go. Now, if you remember Preston last year, they scored as many goals right now in the 2 weeks we have this year as they did in 2 months last year. So maybe things are on the up and up for Preston. And at 185, that might be a good number, to be honest. Norwich and Millwall. Millwall's supposed to be a good team, but they haven't done anything super spectacular yet. Norwich was supposed to be a pretty decent team, but they had to barely get by Hull in week 1. And then last week, a 4-4 draw with Southampton. That's right. That was the high-scoring game. Millwall, on the other hand, has been pretty ugly. They got shut out week 1. And then they also, I believe they got shut out week 2. Or both weeks. Actually, they won the first week 1-0. Lost last week 1-0. So we will pass on that. That's the Sunday 7:00 a.m. game. They're just not scoring goals. They keep it tight. Norwich, I don't know. Maybe, I guess, a plus 105. Maybe I do like Norwich. But the bottom line, I don't think there's that much opportunity here. We got to kind of proceed with caution here. But we'll take a chance on the over with Swansea and Coventry. And we'll take a shot on Tom Brady's Birmingham team. Why not? At plus 240. And I think we'll just pass on the rest. Oh, yeah, Southampton over 2.5 away team goals, plus 285. All that looks good. All right. Bournemouth and Newcastle in the EPL. And then overs and Man United. Overs in Brighton. And the over Man City and Newcastle game as well. Those will be our picks. We'll go ahead and get out of here. On the 18th of August, another good soccer weekend ahead. So everyone, good luck on your tickets. Have a safe weekend. And let's win some soccer cash. What a